What's going on, y'all? Sorry, I'm a little scratchy. I haven't made any videos in about a week. I have been out of it. So that old phrase is, the fastest way to get rid of something is to give it to somebody else. Well, I happened to be a victim of that one last week. Early in the week, one of my co-workers at the tree company gifted me a little something. I've gave him the one finger salute, not like that. Thanked him for it. Anyway, I've got a good topic for today and a repair. So let me take you in and I'll show you this. On the 362s, now you have to realize these have been made for quite some time, and there's a bunch of revisions that have been made. So sometimes it can be really tricky figuring out which part is right for your particular model. So I'm gonna walk you through that. But this is an upgrade, thank goodness. So I don't know if this was actually introduced in the 362s or this was actually an MS400 giddy up. So what happens is after you, where's my little pointer at? After you use this choke rod, there should be a rod going from this little hole right here into this detention in the choke lever. There's the ground piece. But when this goes all the way over, that falls in. That's beside the point. This is an easy fix. So in the past, typically you have to you'll replace the rod because it makes its way out and it frees itself from any more work. And the issue with this is you used to have to replace this choke lever after a while because you could put a new rod in there and this had lost its grip over the years, and it would fall right back out a few weeks later or a couple of days later. So Stihl has an upgrade kit that will retro on all these. So 1140, 180, 0903. And this gives you, you'll be able to see this better when I take it out of the package, but there's actually, they've left room here for like a little hold down clip. So the choke rod will never come out of here. So this is one of the handiest things. And so this is, it says dealer portal, but my account is set up as a non-dealer account. I'd show it to you, but it's got my personal information in there. Anyway, so what I can do to help, because I've been at the counter before, and this is really difficult. This is the newest giddy up. So, when you find, here, I'll take you back to the home page for this. All right. So it's got all your different models and different types of equipment over there. The easiest way to do it now to avoid some of the confusion, and I'll show you how cool this really is. So this is the saw that's on the bench right now. It remembers it. Tells me it's a 362 CM. And this shows me all my part diagrams. But you'll look at this and you'll see that there's been some changes over the years. So there's multiple options, different mufflers, 3 different cylinders that have been on here since they started doing these 362s. You look at all the different side covers that were possible. That's like the newer version, the little small one, and they had the standard one, the West Coast one, and, toolless one. There's some discrepancies in the old and new chain brake bands. Boy, I don't have shit for a voice, do I? I feel a lot better. I know I still sound like crap. Look at all these incarnations of ignition modules. So it can get really tricky. Different carburetors. And then we get to, here, let me go down one, where to go? Here we go. So this page right here shows you some of the differences. Let me see if I can zoom this in just a little bit, make it a little bit more legible. All right, I'll back this out just one. So the old style choke lever is here. Now, what gets even more confusing is if this was a traditional 362, I believe that's what this one is. It has a different choke rod than the M-tronic version does. But I mean, you look at this and there's choke rod, all over the place. And before they updated the software, all these parts would be on there and all of them would have the proper part number. So when we look at this here, I have to, it shows me which one. Let me back out a little bit. So I've got a highlighted part here. So number 6, where's my cursor at? So if I click on number, that tells me which one is right and most current for this model. If I had not keyed this in and just searched the 362, each one of these would have had a part number attached to it, and it'd been very confusing what goes where and what goes to my particular saw. Without hammering that into the ground, I'll show you how much nicer this new choke rod setup is, or the choke lever setup is, and then you won't have this problem any longer. I like this style of air filter, but at some point in time, you got to let it go. This rubber seal on the inside finally starts to wear out and it starts to leak. And it's pretty rough right here. That is not good for an old saw. You can tell this is an older saw. It has the flat top on it. It's not kind of angled back fins. If I remember, it's also, here we go. Hey, look, I'm up to almost 4,500 subscribers. I'll take a like and a subscribe if you don't mind. Shameless plug there. Let's see. Wonder if this will show me. I think when I looked it up originally, it tells me my manufacture date, because it looks like this. Where is it at? There we go. Month and year of production, 08 to 2014. So she's 9 years old. And I don't know how well she feels about consuming this kind of debris. So this is going to get a fresh air filter. You know, it's not abused or anything. It's just not forever. You know, that's tough. You know, when these are new, I mean, they seal up super nice. And we don't see issues like that. Bearings hate this kind of stuff. Okay, this was just supposed to be a trigger video. Excuse me, a choke video. Let me take this apart and we'll take this stuff out of the box and I'll show you what's up. All right, so I've cleaned this off, and you know, basically all you have to do is just, in order to get that out, you just have to kind of pry out and lift it off of this mounting piece right there. This gets a little tricky, so keep an eye on this. You'll kind of have to lift this up in the air, and then you'll have to untangle how this ground wire goes in here. It's pretty straightforward, and just remember how you did this. You know, if you got to take a picture of it beforehand. But, so we've got this, and let me see if I can't bring you in decently close. And you see how there's all worn in that pocket right there? This new piece right there actually has this cap right there and screw that holds the choke rod in there. So even if there is some wear and tear on that receiver, it won't come out. Great idea, nice and simple upgrade to it. You know, so just basically put it back in the same way you found it. That goes in, push down on it. It's kind of hard to watch. I can't get you in super tight, but get that tucked up underneath there, and then it goes around and in and tucks in. So you see right there, There we go. There's also a place where it needs to be tucked in right here. So just lift this up. There's no need in taking this whole thing apart, and just let that slide in. Make sure you hit all your marks. When there is a place to tuck one of these wires in, do it. It's there for a reason. You'll have a better, longer repair with the wiring tucked in. It's amazing how a little bit of vibration can put everything off. I'll show you how this works in just a second. I'm gonna put the rest of it together. It's pretty straightforward. Oh, it's frustrating. So, if you buy this kit for a newer 362 or a 400, which shares the same giddy up, they put a choke lever in here for you. But because this is an earlier one and had different options, I didn't notice. Well, I'm not going to show you. On the screen, it didn't show the choke lever coming with it. I didn't look hard enough. And then off to the side, it had which choke lever went to this saw. So here's what it looks like without the choke rod. So you see how that I've just got that very loose in there. And I ordered the choke rod for it. And here's how you wires. It's tucked in right there, here, and then there. And that keeps it out of the way of everything. I'm gonna make sure that that gets tucked back in as well. You know, I push this one back in. You just want to make sure, and be careful, these wires, this is like a silicone coating on the outside. So you don't want to hurt them too terribly bad. Make sure when you're checking your stuff that, you know, you don't have sharp areas on the end of your screwdriver. Got one last thing for you. Let me get set up and I'll show you something. That's almost done. Some grinding done there. One of these days. Actually, maybe today. Okay, so, you know, I thought I could rock and roll today. So this is my first project. I'm getting a late start. I went to the dealership and picked up all the parts I ordered. So there was 2 of those kits, a couple of grommets for the carburetor on the 440s, or 44s, 440 bearing, PTO side, or excuse me, that's a 660. And for an 044, some rope rotors, you know, just some wear parts, 2 side covers, carburetor for a 193. I mean, nothing. Look at this. 3 rotors, 2 covers, carb, 2 bearings, 5 clips for the starters, 2 choke kits, 2 grommets, and whew, good Lord, $300.05, low discount, low tax. You know, and it's not, before you Husky guys go chiming in, everybody's going crazy on their parts. You know, I had some sticker shock on some Husky parts in the last several months as well. With that being said, order more parts so I can fix more saws. I will catch y'all later. This will probably be my last video for today and tomorrow, and I'll rest my haggard ass voice. Again, if you enjoyed this and that was helpful, throw me a thumbs up, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks, y'all.